It's Saturday, the 5th of January 2013, and this is a re-filmed version of part 6. Only because the audio on my previous part 6 was pretty crap, so I thought I would delete that one and refilm it. So, carrying on, as I always say, from where I left off, if I can remember where I left off. Oh yes. In regard to message replies on Plentyoffish, the reason they are so infrequent, I think I've said this before, but I will repeat myself, is because the women on there get hundreds of messages per week from men telling them, as I said before, how gorgeous they are, how beautiful they are, how sexy they are, etc. Women love to be told they're sexy and beautiful. But the first point is, if you're getting hundreds of messages per week, it's pretty much impossible to reply to every single one. It just can't be done. Second to that is, it's also impossible to read every single one of messages that you receive, because it's just not, unless you've got all the time in the world, then it possibly could be done, but realistically speaking, you can't sift through hundreds of messages per week. It's just totally impossible. So that's one of the reasons why the men on there, and when I've watched the YouTube videos and clips, the men will always say, oh, I sent out 50, 60 messages, only got a handful of replies. So hopefully I've just explained the reason why, because the women on there get so many messages per week. Leading on from that, as I stated before, because women love attention, it changes their character, because they may go on to a dating site with the best of intentions of finding a partner for dating, whatever that is. As I said, because dating is a very loose word, it's open to mass interpretation. But once they get on there in that environment and they get accustomed to it, i.e. receiving all these messages from men telling them how hot they are, how sexy they are, that inadvertently changes your character, because your ego, as I said before, increases. You realise that all these men want you, they're all chasing you. That gives you a feel-good factor, because out in the real world, where else are you going to get that amount of attention of people telling you, oh, how sexy you are the hottest woman I've ever seen in my life? You're not going to get it out in the real world. The only place you get it is on the internet, on a dating site. So it changes the character of women, because a lot of men call it the princess syndrome. Their demands in regard to dates become so unrealistically high that there's not many men out there that would meet or match the criteria. And like I said, I've seen this time and time again over the past 5.5 years. When you read some of the profiles written by women looking for dating on Plentyoffish, their dislikes are, there's so many, and they're so ridiculous. I.e., some women will put down, you have to be a certain height for them to want to date you. You must have a certain eye colour, a certain hair colour. You must have a certain income. So by doing that, the discrimination they're putting out there is tremendous. They may not realise it, but it it doesn't work, because the men get pissed off because they say to themselves, how can I match all this criteria when it's so unrealistic? Instead of just putting down, I'm looking for someone who possibly has the same hobbies or interests, they live quite quite close by to where I live, quite locally, and leave it at that. But the amount of the dislikes as well that women put on their profiles is horrendous. One woman on there, her dislikes, again, there's so many, but she put down she doesn't like undercooked Yorkshire puddings. Now, what sort of a woman puts down on their profile one of her major dislikes is undercooked Yorkshire puddings? And I'm not joking when I say that, she's being completely serious. But this is the type of women that you find on Plentyoffish. And again, they may go on there with the best of intentions to begin with, but once they become accustomed to that environment, it totally fucks them up. Totally. It ruins their personality and their character. Oh,